So something happened that was pretty monumentous when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2 and the future of the platform, especially in Japan, where the Nintendo Switch 2 is already off to an incredible start, and it actually should increase the lead as big new games like Splatoon Raiders and Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave are set to come out this summer on the system. But now we have an announcement of Final Fantasy XIV and the new expansions Evercold. The Switch 2 version will be getting this, and we've got a release window and new details on everything that you need to know about Final Fantasy XIV. And I think this is going to expand the situation when it comes to Japan and even just more of like Asia, even further when it comes to Switch 2. This can be somewhat of a smaller scale system seller for those who want to play a big MMO on the go. We also got a big update on Star Fox and what is happening. Time is kind of running out for April, but we do have an update when it comes to what Nate the Hate has to say. So we're going to discuss everything with Star Fox for the Nintendo Switch 2 as well. But before we continue on, we are giving away a Nintendo Switch 2. All you have to do to enter is hit that subscribe button if you aren't already subscribed, and drop a comment below. We are giving away a Nintendo Switch 2 once we hit 150,000 subscribers, and it will be random. So the more that you actually comment and interact, the better chance that you have to win. Hit that like button, click that notification bell, and let's go ahead and jump right back into it. Let's start off with Final Fantasy XIV Evercold expansion plus the Switch 2 version and the Evangelion collaboration. There's a lot going on when it comes to Final Fantasy XIV and the Nintendo Switch 2. So Square Enix has announced Final Fantasy XIV Evercold, the patch 8.0 expansion for the Final Fantasy XIV during the Final Fantasy XIV Fan Festival 2026 in Anaheim, California. Now, it will launch in January 2027. Additionally, a Switch 2 version of Final Fantasy XIV is planned for release in August 2026, with an early access period planned before launch. The Switch 2 version will require a separate monthly subscription from the other versions following discussions with Nintendo, but will not require a Nintendo Switch Online subscription. So users already subscribed on other platforms can receive a 50% discount on the Switch 2 version subscription fee. An Evangelion collaboration dubbed Ghosts of the Desire was also announced. So we got to talk about this because there were people saying that this is a slippery slope and it's not so good, or Nintendo's being greedy, or some other type of thing. I'm not really sure how all of this works out when it comes to the subscription services. I don't subscribe to any MMOs, so I don't know what the norm is, but what I do know is that not having to have an NSO subscription is definitely good for getting players who have a Nintendo Switch 2 instantly into your ecosystem. So if you're someone that mainly just plays Nintendo Switch 2 games and you don't really go online too much, or you don't feel like paying for the $20 or $50 tier, having this kind of pop up and say, hey, I don't really need an NSO subscription, I think that's pretty good. Now, if you're someone on another platform and if you want to make the Switch 2 version your main platform, then you can hop over to the Switch 2 version. You can cancel one of them over there, then hop over there. Or if you want to have both, you can get the 50% off. So I know it's not ideal for everyone in every single situation, but I do think that it would be ideal for people that are hopping in for the first time, or for people that are going to make the Switch 2 their main system. I think it makes sense for that. But I understand, and I've looked at what a lot of people have been saying on all sides, and I think that it kind of fits almost every single person out there. You get the 50% off if you're already on somewhere else. If you've never played, it's good there. If you don't have NSO, it's good for that as well, because you will have to pay for the subscription for Final Fantasy XIV. So let's talk a little bit more about the Switch 2 version, according to Mr. Yoshi P, who showed it off on stage, which was kind of pretty cool. Kind of reminded me of E3 back in the day. He talked about how the Switch 2 version of the game, they have it kind of like hardwired LAN in, booted to like their mainframe or whatever they're going on over there, but it should play smoothly. There was some concerns over frame rate when it comes to the game. He said that they're working pretty hard. There are maybe some frame rate issues in some of the big towns, but they're working on it. Nothing to be concerned about right now at this point. And then we're going to get into some things more about when it comes to the extended free trial. You're going to have that. So on April 28th, the free trial, this is for the other versions. Obviously, the Switch 2 version isn't happening on April 28th, but the free trial, the critically acclaimed Final Fantasy XIV Online Saga, will also be expanding to include highly praised third expansion, Shadowbringers, with all content up to patch 5.58 soon to be included, with not only A Realm Reborn and the Heaven Sword and Storm expansions. There has never been a better time for newcomers to join over 30 million other registered accounts on their adventures. free trial players can also enjoy hundreds of hours of award-winning gameplay and story experiences equivalent to 4 full Final Fantasy titles without limit on playtime. You can learn more about that. I'll have a link for you guys. There'll be all the information if you want to go over to the official website. Now, the Nintendo Switch 2 version is interesting too as well. So that's coming August, and they stated that they plan to have an early access period to test out server stability and launch into official service. Adventurers from more platforms than ever before can join together to enjoy the vast world. More details will be coming available soon as well. So I want to talk about that just a little bit more, just because I think that Nintendo Switch Online beta test program, that one thing that they did, I think that was for games like this, where people were saying, what type of game is this? What is this going to be? I think it was literally testing out Nintendo's service to see if they can, or to kind of test and to stress test what would happen if they had a big MMO like this. So I think that's what that was for, if you guys remember that thing that Nintendo did. So I think, once again, this is going to be huge when it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2 in Japan. Final Fantasy XIV is still a very popular game. People play it on PlayStation 5, people play it on PC, and having a Switch 2 version of the game opens up a lot more new people, and it's coming out around August, so by then you're going to get probably a lot more new sales. It's going to be a platform that's going to be well over 20 million units by that point. Fastest selling system of all time right now at this point, and I think the sales are going to continue to be consistent throughout this year as we're getting some big games like I talked about before. So it makes sense for them to bring it over. It's on Xbox Series, it's on PlayStation 5, it's on PC, so go ahead and finish that up and get it on the Nintendo Switch 2 as well, and get probably millions of more people to join in when it comes to registering accounts and trying it out. Now, based on what I've heard so far from people talking about this, you're going to be able to get pretty much hundreds of hours of content without paying anything. You're going to be able to go in there and get a free trial and play a lot. So I think that this is going to be big for people maybe trying out MMOs, because Final Fantasy XIV has one of the better communities out there. I've seen people talk about this game for quite some time. I've never been into MMOs. I've had all the systems that this is released on. It was originally on PC and PlayStation 3 originally, and then it came to PlayStation 4 and things. But for me, it's just something that I've never really gotten into too much. I'll probably test it out just for the fact that it's coming to Switch 2, but we'll see if I'll be able to keep on with this, because from what I understand, man, once these games kind of have you locked in, you don't want to play anything but it. So I don't want to fall into that. So what do you guys think when it comes to Final Fantasy XIV for the Nintendo Switch 2? You think it's going to be a big boon when it comes to the install base for this game? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, moving on to the next topic here. Let's talk about Star Fox for the Switch 2 and what's going on with this, because we are pretty much towards the end of April here and we have not heard anything yet. So people are questioning what's happening with this, and they're talking to Mr. Nate the Hate, who originally revealed that Star Fox was coming, and it should be revealed this month in April. So over on Reset Era, there was people talking about this. The original comment that Mr. Nate the Hate quoted and responded to. Let's get into first the comment, then we'll get into what Nate the Hate has to say on this. I have Star Fox zero reasons to doubt Nate at all at this point, other than the general feeling of antsiness due to wanting a new, hopefully great Star Fox game more than anything else in all of gaming. He didn't just drop it as a fly-by comment or something that might be happening. It was the biggest focus of his most recent podcast, which includes a huge amount of confidence in this project being real and imminent. Crossing my fingers for a reveal on Tuesday for a nice mid-June release. And here's what Nate had to say, quoting that and responding on Reset Era. I have zero doubt in the Star Fox project. Hell, VGC and a French journalist have also spoken about the game and back the info of it coming in June. If it doesn't get revealed this month as planned, it simply means Nintendo made a marketing pivot and adjusted the timeline a touch. I enjoy seeing the revisionist history around Splatoon Raiders when you had people doubting it would even release this year, just days before I dropped this episode. Nate the Hate said that Splatoon Raiders was going to be a summer release, and then of course we got the information on Splatoon Raiders. I didn't see too many people saying that it wouldn't come out this year. I think it was already set, but I'm pretty sure there were probably some that were saying that on his podcast podcast episode. He probably saw some people saying that, but we really didn't have too much information on Splatoon Raiders, and Nate did say that it was going to be summer. I don't know if Nintendo ever said that it was going to be a summer release specifically. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat, guys, but either way, Nate said that we should hear more about it soon, and it should be coming out in the summer, and of course it is. So let's talk about this when it comes to Star Fox. Hopefully we do get a Star Fox reveal. I mean, it's one of those things that people really want to see. Really, they've got just a few more days if Nate the Hate's information, because he said it's going to be this month. If that's correct, originally, obviously they can still pivot. Pivots happen all the time when it comes to gaming, but it could maybe be the 27th. That's tomorrow as of the time that I'm recording this video. So Nintendo could do it then, or it could be Tuesday, or it could be Wednesday, or it could be Thursday. That would be all April. Now on Friday and on, that moves on to May. So obviously it could come later, but it wouldn't be exactly the same timing. But I think the big thing here, people are looking at the timing. I think we need to really look at the game itself. Like, will the game even happen? Because remember, there was nothing on Star Fox before Nate said something about Star Fox. Now, of course, people would start talking about it even more because of the movie with Mario and everything. So I'm pretty sure people would say, okay, yeah, is there a Star Fox game coming? Why is Star Fox being featured so hard here in this movie? But Nate's the one that's saying, here, we do have a Star Fox game. It's going to have online multiplayer. It's going to have really good graphics. So these are the type of details that I would say that wouldn't have came about. It would just be speculation. So Nate is pretty confident that this is a thing. And I think that's really what I'm focused on more so than anything, is the fact that there is an actual real Star Fox game that's coming, and it's not the Star Fox racing rumor, but something that Nate feels confident about is real, and that's going to have the online multiplayer, going to have the good graphics, going to be a quality game. And then once again, VGC, unless they're getting tipped off by the same person that's maybe lying about things, VGC also heard the same thing and added on that it was going to have some witty or good writing, that it's funny. So I think that this thing is real. It has to be real unless we're getting our leg pulled here. Once again, it could be like a Star Fox racing thing, but that was a crazy scenario, and I highly recommend a Did You Know Gaming video on it. Go check out that video. That gives you the full details on that, but I don't think this is that, especially considering who Nate the Hate is. You also have to remember Nate the Hate was the one who told us about the original Nintendo Switch 2 reveal when Nintendo was going to first show this system. Nate the Hate was the one that gave us that. It was January 2025. People were doubting Nate all the way up to the final hour before it was revealed that morning. So it's something that Nate has kind of earned that, I would say, leeway and confidence with people, considering he knew when Nintendo would show that first footage of the Nintendo Switch 2. And that's crazy to know that type of information, because nobody else had that but Nate. So I'm going to put some confidence in him. Even if it doesn't come in April, it's one of those things where they could have pivoted. I'm more focused on the game actually being real when it comes down to it. Now, if the game never comes out, then obviously that's a problem right there. Nate's not always right about everything. We still haven't seen some of the games like Kirby Planet Robobot or, for example, Fire Emblem 4 Remake. Don't have those yet, but he seems very confident when it comes to what's happening here. And we could still get Fire Emblem 4 Remake. We could still get Kirby Planet Robobot when it comes to those games. It's not like Nintendo's been known to not sit on games for quite some time or anything, but we'll see when it comes to Star Fox, man. I'm looking forward to what's happening here. I think it's going to be an interesting reveal when they finally do reveal the game. I think that Mario movie was something to help buffer them, and it just follows the same pattern that we got. It just makes sense when it comes to it, right? You look at what happened with Donkey Kong. Donkey Kong was featured heavily in the Mario movie back in 2023, and then right there by the launch of the system, we got Donkey Kong Bonanza. That was something that was, I would say, intentional. This seems to be the exact same playbook. They're bringing back a classic franchise, much better hardware, and it's probably going to have new gameplay mechanics that we haven't seen before in previous games in that franchise, just like Donkey Kong Bonanza. So I'm looking forward to it. Looks like it's going to be a classic style Star Fox game, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be a bunch of new wrinkles thrown into the mix here, considering the amount of time it's been since we've gotten a last brand new Star Fox game. The last one was on the Wii U with Star Fox Zero. I'm guessing they want to go in a completely different direction than that game. So Star Fox 64, Star Fox Assault, these are the ones before that one. Star Fox Command, that was a while ago. So it's been quite some time. We have not had the consistency with Star Fox. So I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of cool cool, interesting, and new ideas, in addition to classic gameplay as well. But we will see what happens here. I'm looking forward to checking out Star Fox. I think it's going to be good when they finally reveal it. And Nintendo's lineup is shaping up nicely here with games like Yoshi and the Mysterious Book. That's going to be coming out in May, in addition to Splatoon Raiders in July. And we'll see what happens in June. That's the one thing people are talking about. June, do they put Star Fox in there from a short reveal to launch? We got to see what Nintendo's doing with the Nintendo Direct, probably happening more closer to June or in June. We need to see what's happening with Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. Also with some of the other rumors as well, with Ocarina of Time Remake, what's happening with that game, the Dust Bloods, what's happening with that game. So there's still quite a bit left to talk about here. And of course, new reveals when it comes to Nintendo Switch 2, third-party AAA games, and all of that. So there's a lot to get into. I think it's going to be a very interesting second half of 2026. So what do you guys think when it comes to everything we talked about here with Final Fantasy and Star Fox for Switch 2? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch 2 RPG content and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.